Good evening, New Bedford Guide. Chris Resendes here, not for the Chris Resendes show. Tonight, taking over is for this week, we're doing the first episode of many. The Survivors Speak podcast with Jen Blum. We got myself, Jen in studio, and a wonderful guest, professional boxer, Shelito Vicente. She's a lightning rod. She's been here about 10 minutes in studio, and boy, I like her, man. She's got a little pep and fire to her, and she's got a good story, man. We're starting a new endeavor tonight. We want to reach out to as many people as possible. So we're starting on our show because, you know, it's been doing well with the reach, and we want to mainly help people who are hurting or know people that are hurting and know people that are victims as possible. We want to be able to make sure that they can see that there's a plan, a way out, that there are people out there to counsel them, that there's an object of the desire to become a survivor and not a victim is attainable. And even if you're not a victim, you can get something out of today's show. If you're a person stuck in a career that's unfulfilling, a struggling parent who's trying to find the answers, we all can relate to that. A spouse in a dead marriage, an entrepreneur who can't make the final steps towards achieving your purpose. This message that I'm speaking right now is for you, not just the victims. Jump. Jump now. Make your goal happen now. By this point, it's something that you truly desire and you know it in your heart. And it's necessary that you get to your desired goals in life. Like I said, whether it's a business, getting out of an abusive relationship, anything, finding parental help, guidance. Get a solid goal tonight. Counsel with parents, other parents, experts in the field. We're on the internet. You can find anybody. And get the needs fulfilled from them, the resources you need in order to become successful in your desire. Get out of that abusive relationship. Email Jen or I tonight. We'll get you there. Open up that business. Go on YouTube and get some self-help podcasts. Parenting, join the parental group. Get the resources you need. Reach out to family. We all struggle. Last week I told you we're all broken, and we all are. But guess what? We can all help each other too. Be a resource. Lift your other person around you up and help them get to their goal. Get them out of a bad situation. A couple weeks ago, Jen and I sat down and said, we're going to start a podcast. And let's do it. And, you know, all that other crap. And I'm sure as all you guys are familiar with, there's a thing called the 5-second rule. And with the 5-second rule, it applies to everything, not just that chip on the ground or that piece of hot dog that just fell off the bun. You got 5 seconds to pick it up and eat it. Because if it's there for more than 5 seconds, we're going to get a lot more germs or it's going to be grosser or something. The same thing applies here. Whenever you have a goal to get out of an abusive relationship, or you need help, or you want to open up that business, or you want to be a better parent, be a better husband, we all need to do that. What you do is you make it happen now. Because the more you think about it, the more excuses you make on why you cannot achieve that desire. Think of it as jumping out of a plane. I told Jen this. You want to be the first one out. Because after you watch 3 of them dudes jumping out, you're thinking about every damn reason not to jump out of that plane. And that is true. It's going to happen. So today, I implore you, please, use your faith, find your desire, and find your resources and those to counsel. Make that plan and jump and make that move into getting your goal. And that goal could be whatever it is. Tonight, our goal is to get 1 or 50 women out of an abusive relationship, men out of an abusive relationship, or just a bad situation that could become abusive. That's my spiel. I'm done. I'm just here for the ride tonight. I've got my wonderful friend Jen, who's been doing such great work with her foundation. And now, the new endeavor, the podcast that we're starting right here now, we've got a great guest, Shelito Vicente, who, if I don't do well tonight, she's probably going to punch me after this is done. She's a professional boxer. Hey, man, I didn't do anything. If the guy that messed with you was bald and ugly, it wasn't me. It's just a coincidence. Jen, what do you think about our project and how it's going so far?
I think it's going good so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is the goal of this podcast that you want out of this?
I would say the goal is for us to get to as many victims and survivors as possible and people that need our help. And we're getting there.
I mean...
I worked with 3 new women last week. 3
from our last...
women. I believe 2 of them were from our last. The one of them I'm not absolutely sure, but 2 of them were, yeah. And it's actually going to lead to my question for you later on, because it's interesting that all 3 have gone through the same thing, and I went through the same thing, and I'm sure once we get to the question, Shelly has also gone through it. So it's interesting, and the percentage is pretty high. So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Viewers, we have a few of you on right now. Actually, there's more than a few. Please ask us a question that could help you, even if it's just for a friend.
Absolutely.
Asking for a friend could help out another person, another viewer, whether they're watching now live or later on when we post this in the future.
And sometimes just knowing how to be a friend to someone that's going through it is just as important.
Now, she just made me feel bad because like 5 minutes before the situation, I said I really felt bad that as her friend, I wasn't able to help her out of her situation because I didn't know about it.
We've talked about this 1,000,001 times, so we're not going to talk about it again.
Absolutely.
Nothing you could do.
So just learn to be a good friend,
Yes,
as well
great
as, you know, if you need the help, get the help.
Yep.
Jen's an awesome resource. Shelly's going to be here to tell us a story, and she might help you if you need a little backup when you're trying to get out of a bad situation.
Price is right.
We got a mercenary here. We got a mercenary.
Oh no, our first show.
I know, right? We got video evidence.
Calls for Vincent.
We got video evidence of
Right now.
some beatings for hire.
Oh shoot.
I ain't cheap. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
Just so you know, we have an official celebrity. She has that blue check mark on her
she
name
has
on
the blue check
Facebook and
mark.
Instagram. She
Yeah.
let us be known.
Yeah.
So one day I'll get there. I know Jen's already on the way there, but one day I'll get there. The blue check mark for the funny looking bald guy.
Yeah.
Jen, why don't you get us into Shelly?
So why don't you tell us how you got there?
With the boxing?
Yep. Tell us about your struggles growing up. Tell us about what's
All right.
happened.
So I got into boxing to channel my anger and my depression because my mother was getting beat at home and I was getting beat at home, but not my other sisters. So my stepfather, he would just he would beat my mom, beat me for everything that what was going on and everything. And so then my mother, long story short, my mother got out of that relationship and started seeing this other man. And the other man was treating me nice, tricking me, you know, oh, I want to be that father for you that you never had, and just, you know, trying to build my trust because I already didn't have trust from everything that I was going through from being beat from when I was a kid and watching my mother get beat. Like my mother was getting beat to the point where she got gasoline poured on her and chased around the house with a match.
Oh, she was just being tortured then.
No, yeah, it was bad. Like every day was hell. That's why I got into things that I shouldn't have got into to try to get out of the house.
Coping.
And yeah, just trying to live on my own. And I think my mom stayed so long because she was scared of what he was going to do next. But we can come back to that after. But so she started seeing this other guy that worked with her the same field. My mother was a correctional officer. You see a man in uniform, you think you can trust these people. But he built my trust. He got me to trust him, and you know, doing stuff, and like a father, I felt like I had a father for once. And then he ended up sexually abusing me. It happened more than once. Now, because my mother was getting abused in that other relationship, I didn't want to hurt my mother by telling her. But this is a kid in my kid mind thinking.
How old were you?
13. So with me being a child and thinking, oh, I have to protect my mother, and she couldn't protect me because I wasn't telling her what was going on.
Right.
So eventually, after this happened a few times, I started to hide from this man. So my mother was like, I don't understand, like, why he's so good to you, why are you hiding? I was like, I just don't want to go, just leave me alone. And I would hide. So he started trying to pull my sister in. I knew what he was going to do to my sister. So I told my sister told my mother called the police. Then it went from there. But
how long did this go on for?
All I can say is that it happened multiple times. because really, it got to the point where I tried to push all that stuff out of my mind until it was brought to where they had to find me for certain things. But like a lot of the things, even when I'm talking about, like I can't really remember, like I know I was 13, 14 because of the time that I was in school. But a lot of the things, I can't pinpoint them to an exact date or time or stuff because I tried to, I don't know if you understand, because you try to forget it until it's, you know, brought back up because then you're living it again.
Right.
So someone who doesn't know, you just hide these you just taking all these episodes or incidents, whatever you want to term it, and you just hide them away in a spot and you just...
Yeah, I used
do.
to.
You actually
do you actually build this
Yeah.
wall where you can actually hide it?
Yeah, you could almost make yourself, I just don't know how to explain it, but
Is it one of those things like if I keep telling a lie and I keep saying it to myself that sooner or later I believe it's true?
Yeah.
To some degree, except it's not. Like, I remember even when
certain things will make you remember it again, but you can block it off almost.
It's almost like it becomes so much of the norm every day that it's just when we were in court, Hunter remembered things that I didn't remember.
Yep.
That once he said it, I was like, oh my God.
And how it affects everybody
I remember that happening now.
And it was a big event.
And it was a big event. I mean,
Something you shouldn't forget.
Something you absolutely should not forget. And things that he had details about that I was just kind of bewildered that he remembered. And then as he would say it, I would remember the same thing. So I get it. And that's what happens. And you're not consciously trying to forget those things.
Because you don't want to remember them.
Right. You just, they're gone.
And you're trying to heal yourself and trying to protect yourself from your own thoughts. You know, I guess that's the best way I could put it. Mary, which you guys can't see her, I used to live with Mary. She was my manager. I used to have flashbacks. I used to have nightmares, right? I used to, you know, I used to wake up and go in her kid's room and I'd be asleep and all that stuff. But she saw it. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't, like, it messed me up that bad. And like she could tell you like how much it affects a person.
Were those bad things that you put away in that little box brought to you in your subconscious when you were sleeping? You would have these nightmares and that's when it would reappear?
I was with my girlfriend one night and I'm like, get up, hurry up, he's coming, we have to go get the kids. Right? No kids. I don't even know where the kid thing came from, but I think it's because of the fact that I was a kid and now I want to try to protect kids.
Right.
And I was in my sleep. She was like, "Whoa! Like, what is it? You just? I still have them to this day. I have what's that called? Insomnia. I barely sleep. I used to have to take stuff to sleep. I sleep probably 4 hours a night, and I still have nightmares to this day.
I do that too sometimes with potty training our daughter. She wakes up all the time. I'm just trying to break up the medicine and all that stuff. Is that just one part of where you're getting your help now? Are you also seeking other treatment in forms of psychologist or whatnot, counseling?
Yeah, I did get into counseling. The counselor wanted to put me on medicine. My mother ended up dying from leukemia at 37.
Oh,
so my mom died very young. So then that threw me back into depression. But I started talking to a counselor, and I seen a counselor when I was a kid after all the stuff happened. So I was in and out of the counseling. But I went from being a straight A student and a like great, loving, happy kid to a depressed kid who hid in the closet and stayed in the dark. I painted my walls black, and you know, I guess that was just the
You're just hiding.
Yeah, well, I was hiding,
Yeah.
and I was hiding from my father,
Yep.
and my sister would hear me crying in the closet after I got raped. And I would just be and she didn't understand why I was crying, and then, you know, when I went to court and the paper came out and I read in the paper that my sister wrote and everything, I didn't realize how much it affected her kids. My niece was so sheltered, she wasn't allowed to have sleepovers.
Yeah.
She wasn't allowed to have, and I didn't understand how bad it affects the whole family. I ended up going to prison because every time I felt like somebody was going to do something to me, I would just start letting my hands go. Because trying to protect myself.
Can I ask you a question?
I know it's kind of all over the place, but that's how my mind is. I had so much stuff happen to me.
I'll try to maintain the speed here. I'm going to try to maintain the speed and keep it all in perspective. But I got a question for my own research, because someone I love might be dealing with this situation as well. Do you ever feel guilty for what someone did to you? Do you feel guilty?
mind you, I was a kid when all this happened. I felt bad telling on the guy because of the nice things that he did do for me, because no man ever did nice stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you felt compassion for your
him
offender.
acting like a father. You see what I'm saying? Which I didn't have all, with my stepfather,
Yeah, but we're not talking about he slipped up here. That's, you know.
Yeah.
But you still felt that guilt,
I still felt, and then I'm like, well, what did I do wrong to make this man think that that was okay? And really, I didn't do anything wrong. I always was kind of tomboyish. I always, you know what I'm saying? I never wore seductive clothes. Never.
So you were trying to victim blame on yourself.
Right.
Is that something that's common, Jen?
I think it's very
not that
common.
In your situation, did you, when you were abused, did you say to yourself, am I the one who instigated this beating? Am I the one who instigated this?
You're made to feel,
yourself,
and you're also made to feel like you're the person, because after a big event happens where, you're messed up, it's because of what you did. Well, you shouldn't have said that. Well, you should have thought twice. You should have kept your mouth shut.
You're saying
You
what
should have done this.
the offender does is
Right.
kind of puts you in a mental
Right.
little Rubik's Cube where he's making you get messed up,
You
thinking
think
you're the
that
one who
you're wrong.
you're the one who
Right,
did it,
right.
and then all of a sudden you
Absolutely.
start believing. Is that what you?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
And really, it's
Absolutely.
just these people are sick. They're sick.
No, normal people don't do that
That's the
stuff,
only way
yeah.
to even make any type of sense of it. They're sick, and to prey on a child, to have sexual fantasies about a child, to hit on a child. You know what I'm saying? Kids can't defend themselves. Their minds hasn't matured to where you can make certain decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like with kids, it's different with kids and with adults. But for a kid, because that was my situation, my stuff happened when I was a kid. That was just preying on a victim. And the crazy part is he thought I was going to grow up to be nobody. And I ended up being somebody
What makes you say that?
just because me and my mother came from an abusive relationship from there.
So he's just
We were
holding you
living-
down, thinking
we
you were
living
just gonna.
over there. Yeah, but you think people that do that, he didn't have no idea that I was going to box. He didn't have no idea that I was going to be a great boxer. He had no idea that I was going to be on television and billboards and magazines.
We're gonna get there.
You know?
We're gonna get
Right.
there. This is an hour-long podcast, and we split it up in two pieces here. Chill out, you chill out. You're letting the hat out of the bag.
Most people that do that, they think that nothing's going to happen
It's
because
true.
of they're like, oh,
Right.
it's not like I'm doing it to some, like.
It's like in the movies when they pick on the homeless
This
people.
little girl that's
Right.
been
It's so
beat her
true.
whole life,
It's true. I mean, I know that my abuser today probably could never imagine me being where I am.
Being strong enough
Ever.
to-
In
yeah.
fact, when we were going through trial, he was convinced that the law enforcement that had helped me with just telling my story, that I had something going on with them, because
Oh, he thought they
didn't
were
think-
manipulating you to do
he
this.
just didn't think I was smart enough to be able to do it on my own. He didn't think I was smart enough to come forward and smart enough to be able to handle everything that was
Was
gonna
it smart
come
or
in.
brave? Because you obviously were smart in school. I went to school with I was that kid who was smart but kind of
Ask
skipped
me the
school, you know what I
question.
mean? Got in trouble.
God, hook me up, Jen.
Well, I don't know if I think he beat me down so bad
He didn't think
for
you
so many
could
years
get back up.
that he never thought that I would be able to get up. And here I am today, and I'm doing all this great stuff through the foundation and just in real life itself. I mean, he would have never. He didn't think I would ever be anything without him. Like, I wouldn't have been able to make it without him. And that's one of the components of why people stay, is that you're beat down like that so badly
It's
that
fear,
you
yeah.
don't think that you're anything. I mean, we've talked about this before, and how I felt when I left, and the fact that people would come up to me and say great things to me, and I would put my head down and shy away because I didn't even understand that, because I was 13 years with someone who talked to me like I was trash, treated me like I was trash.
And usually don't do it in public in front of other people, right?
No.
Right.
And the few
It's a
times
front.
that he actually did do it in front of other people, those people felt so bad for me that they distanced themselves from me because they didn't know how to react at all. And that's what happens.
So during my stupid little spiel at the beginning of the show, I said jump, get the resources, do all that stuff.
And we
Is that
think
how
about
you
jumping,
got
but
out
it's
of
a
it?
different
Is
type
that
of
how
jump.
you got out of it? Did you just say, I'm going to do a little research, I'm going to find my plan, and I'm going to, boom, I have to do it? Or was it just by mistake? How did it happen on both your ends? Like, when did you, what made
With
you,
me.
boom, finally, that's it, I'm done?
I was so depressed and angry that I got into boxing not to fight, but just to hit the bag and channel my anger.
Which I hear
So-
all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
If you listen to a lot of pro athletes, or athletes in general through high school and such, they became as good as they were because they had something going on at home, or they had something going on elsewhere that they were A, escaping, and B, needed to channel their anger.
Right.
It's funny you said that, because at the beginning, before you guys got here, Josh and I were speaking about something in general. We'll just use addiction, for example. Once you take away that drug, your body, your mind works in a certain way where this is a flat piece of land and all the earth is there planted. You know, this is your soil. Addiction's part of that soil. Once you dig that hole to take the addiction out, there's a hole there. You automatically have to fill that hole in, or else the addiction will come back and fill that hole.
Yep.
And that's what boxing did to you, right? You took that void, that need.
Speaking of addiction, because of everything, I'll just be completely honest with y'all. I detoxed off of drugs by myself in my bed because I was trying to kill myself. Heroin, cocaine, actually I was taking anything trying to overdose, trying to kill myself. And I don't think people knew the severity of the drugs that I was on. I knew that they knew that I was sniffing coke, but I was trying to kill myself and drinking. I drove over the bridge the wrong way. I was at my grandmother's grave with a gun, but my mom's grave with a gun. Like, but I'd pass out because I had to be high and stuff because I know I didn't have the heart to do it.
Sober.
I don't have the strength to kill myself sober, yeah.
Right.
So, you know, so I was like, and besides, I probably won't feel anything if I'm high. So I ended up detoxing off of all that stuff by myself in my house. And then I said, like, what the fuck am I doing? Oh, there it goes. So it jumped. But listen, so
you're talking to a sick. It jumped.
But
don't try to blame that crap on me, man.
You know. So, but I said, like, what am I doing? I was in and out of jail because at any time I just started hitting people and stuff, and all this stemmed from the abuse and the rape.
But depression.
Yeah, and the depression. So I said, what am I doing, man? Like, I got into the boxing, the channel, and the only time I feel good is when I'm boxing and I'm hitting this. I'd be hitting the bag, crying, you know, all this. I never had no intentions of fighting, never. I just wanted to fight back.
A release.
Yeah. And my counselor kind of said that because I used to bang my head on the walls and stuff until it would, you know, people cut. I guess it's like the same way of cutting, but I was trying to release my. So anyway, we got into the boxing and it made it better. But then I finally just said, you know what? I'm good at boxing, and I was in and out of prison for fighting the people, fighting back, right?
So you're getting this training, right? And you're taking out this anger.
You know, crying when I'm running. The only time I felt
and you
good
still had a little more that you weren't ready to be on the streets with now these trained fists and this desire to.
And it was never that. I never wanted to hit nobody or hurt nobody. I only defended myself.
You could truly say that.
Honest to God, on my dead mother's grave. I've never maliciously hit somebody or wanted to hurt somebody like that. It was always somebody doing something to me and I reacted, but I had this reputation for fighting because of what the people did to me.
Right, so
that
you were
they thought that I was,
right.
yeah. And I even had the parole officers, the cops come up when my story came out, and they were like, oh my God, you were telling us the truth the whole time. I was like, what if I was the victim? What if I'm the victim and you guys are completely wrong? Right. What if these people are doing, like I am doing this stuff, but cause and effect, like, think about it, you know? And then when my story came out, because I wasn't ready to tell my story. And you know what? The reason why I didn't go to the police is because I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I didn't want the kids in school to make fun of me. I didn't want my mother to feel ashamed that her boyfriend did this to me.
That she didn't stop it.
Right? But she didn't know.
Right.
And then I'm thinking as a kid, well, how come my mother didn't protect me? My mother didn't protect me because I didn't say anything to her. And that's why it's so important, and I stress the kids when I go to the schools and we talk to the kids and all this stuff, that you have to talk to somebody. You have to see a counselor. Don't be embarrassed, because the only way is when you get it off your chest and you start talking about it. You can't heal holding the stuff locked in. And boxing, for me, is my therapy sessions now.
Release. Yeah.
When I fight, I'm fighting the guy that raped me. The guy that abused my mom and me, which I still love him too. He raised me and he was there when I didn't have my own father, you know, but there's certain good things that he did and bad things that you do. And I don't know if it makes sense, but, you know, I love him, but I hate him.
People, it makes sense. I understand it.
But to outsiders, like, how could you absolutely,
right?
You know, I'd never have, for the guy that raped me, I can never forgive him, but abusing me, he was an alcoholic, and then I always asked, and I never got the question because he died, was this because you was drunk, or is that just who you are as a person? I think it was the alcohol.
I think a lot of times I can blame drugs and alcohol for my abuser. and that was like night and day. I mean, it was what it was.
Well, you think that...
But I was one of 6 women.
So
that didn't happen the whole time. So I don't really take alcohol or drugs and turn that into an excuse, if you will.
That's what I was going to ask
Because I don't. Because I was hit when he wasn't drunk and when he was sober. More so when he was drunk. But
all I can say is, the alcohol is just going to be restraint. The abuse is in the will to. I mean, you'd have to be completely smashed or completely doped out if it's not in you to hit a woman,
right?
Or man, whatever the case may be, to abuse your spouse, your family member. So that's got to be in you already. And all alcohol does is, quite frankly, is truth serum. I used to tell people anything. You want to ask me a question? Like back when I used to go out. I'm generally pretty honest, but if you really want to know the deep, crazy truth, come see me at 1. I'll let you know. You know what I mean? So, but the truth was in me.
Yep.
Exactly.
The abuser, to be that person, it's in them.
You might have just answered my question.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not. Hey, man, don't trust me, man. What I probably said makes no sense, but I hope
it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense
because I never thought of it, and I never got the chance to ask him that. But I felt really bad when he was dying for my family and stuff. But that's always the question I wanted to know was like, why?
That's crazy that in your heart you still feel bad and you're still like, oh, I felt bad.
Because as much as the bad stuff that he did, he still did good things. My stepfather, not the guy that raped me. See, these are 2 different people.
Yes, I understand. But your stepfather's the one who.
Yeah, and I have 2 stepfathers.
Hit your mom.
And I have 2 stepfathers. And not to be confused with Pops, because Pops is the one that. That's the thing I talked about it one time on the news, and my stepfather said, everybody thinks I'm abusing you, but I said, no, it wasn't him. But he's the one that made me trust men, and he's still in my life to this day, even though my mother's passed and stuff. But
thank God.
It all comes down to understanding and talking and getting it out, and that's our main goal, is to get that story out there to the kids, to everybody.
And you do a lot of work with the kids, which is awesome. I mean, that's one thing that I like so much. Yeah.
I'm going to have to interrupt right now because it's 7:30 and we got to actually give a shout out to our sponsors here at New Bedford Guides. Mario over at, which one are we doing? Either one. Pasta House or the Cask and Pig. They're our sponsors here at the New Bedford Guide. And
I'm looking for sponsors. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right? So am I. So, Pasta House, Alden Road, Fairhaven. Excellent Italian dishes. And also the Cask and Pig for a barbecue, Dartmouth style with a twist. Mario and his happy hour appetizer over at the Cask and Pig, absolutely delicious. I'm actually going to talk to him this week. I said it last show, but we're going to be doing a fantasy football show, and I'm still working on that, and we're going to try to get it done at the Pasta House or at most likely Cask and Pig, and we're going to do like a review of teams and stuff like that. Continue to support local businesses like the Pasta House. Continue to support local businesses like the Cask and Pig, because the owners, Mario Ribeiro, I say it time and time again, Raquel Ribeiro, excellent human beings who every time I reach out to them to help a toy drive, gift cards for a cause, whatever it may be, they are the first ones to jump in and help your community. Support local businesses that support your community and support causes like the Survivor Speak podcast. Again, thank you, Mario. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, Cask and Pig and Pasta House in Fairhaven. Sorry to interrupt, but we have to pay bills. Guys, after that little interruption, I'm sorry. You are now still tuned into the Survivor Speak podcast with Jen Blum and myself, Chris Resendes. Our awesome guest tonight, who's bringing way more than I thought she would. She's been through so much crap that we could talk for hours. And we're talking domestic violence. We're talking sexual abuse. Shelito Vicente, she's a professional boxer. And I hope that we can get someone here the strength and courage to get some help tonight. Or if you know somebody, be that person. Help them with their plan to get out and escape. And like I started the show off with, jump, get to that point where you can get out of wherever you're stuck in and move to your desire. Shelly, we just went over, we cleared up the air on who your abusers were. Yeah. You were physically abused by one and sexually abused by the other. So make sure you...
And then there was a good one.
You know, and then there was a good one. So we want to make sure.
Did you fight?
No, and so when I was an amateur, I was going to have my first fight. They let my mother out from the hospital after she was diagnosed, because she was diagnosed at 36 and died at 37. So it was fast. And so they let her out. So she came, she was going to see me do my first fight. Well, you had to, back in that day, you had to wear these turtle shells in there, you know, to protect the stuff. So I ended up I didn't have them, and by the time the girl realized that the whole place was there for me, the girl decided not to fight when they went to go give me the stuff. So my mom never actually got to see me fight, and I ended up fighting. I went straight into Golden Gloves, and I lost by 1 point, and it was 2 days after my mother died.
Wow.
And the thing that messed me up was my sister was like, come on, do it for Mom. And that like completely changed my train of thought, and I was thinking about my mother. But then I won all my fights after that, and now everything that I do, as you've seen as a pro, everything is dedicated to my mother. My fight on the 21st it's a week before my mother's birthday. The whole thing is dedicated to her. I'm walking out to a video to her, but on my mom's dying bed, when her last breaths was, Shelly, you can never stop boxing because that's going to be your way out.
Yep.
So even when I wanted to retire because of the politics and the way that it was going with women, you know, I remember that, and I know that my mom is smiling now, and you know, for the transition that I did, and I just wish that I know she sees it, but I wish that she was here to experience the person that I became, and because it was bad. Like, she probably thought I was going to be a victim forever.
She probably did, but you're not.
Yeah, I wear the straight jacket.
She wears the
to
straight
symbolize
jacket.
the way women are tied down in sports.
And
the
the
mask,
mask.
V for Vendetta, because the actual Guy Fawkes was born 2 days after me and died the same day as my mother. So I wear the mask to symbolize that, you know, with the mask on, we're all the same, but behind the mask, everybody's different, but we're all fighting something.
Man, last week I did a little, started my show off like I did tonight. I try to always just inspire somebody with some stupid words I put together. But last week, my main thing was that we're all broken.
Yeah.
You know, I have victims,
Yeah.
addicts.
Yeah.
Gosh, you check every damn box that I spoke of.
Yeah.
And survivors.
Yeah.
And we're all, and people like me who live the rosy life, that have the Facebook highlight reel, like I like to call it. Like, everybody thinks everything's freaking perfect. And, you know, my wife doesn't want to kick the shit out of me sometimes. And, you know, because of my stupid mouth. But everybody's broken. Everybody. Yeah. So you're 100% right. No, the straight jacket.
Yep. No, it's
Man,
like if you came to my house,
how do you stay loose walking into the ring? Yeah, you're into some weird stuff. But how do you stay loose with that, man?
They do it up.
Yeah.
I walk out. My hair's awesome. I wear a crown. All that. And then we get in. They unbuckle it. But, you know, and the whole purpose, everybody, she's trying to look tough, she's trying to look crazy. No, I'm breaking free of my demons the night I fight. I'm trying to break free of everything and the way women are tied down in sports. And it's changing, it's shifted, and I'm just glad that I was one of those women that did do that. And they said that it wouldn't be me because of my look, the being gay, all the stuff and the trauma.
Right.
They said it wouldn't be me. And
I think you're perfect for it.
And yeah.
You're breaking some barriers.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Being myself and telling
yourself.
my story, trying to, you know, and that's my other point is that, you know, how many times I wanted to kill myself, how many times I tried to kill myself, and, you know, but I broke free of that and I changed my life through boxing. So you have to find your outlet and you have to find a way to channel it, and then it all starts getting a little bit better. I mean, you never...
Next week's show is suicide awareness.
Well,
and I
There's
never
another
thought,
box.
and you're right about that. You have to channel into something. For me, it was channeling it into, before we even left court, I looked at them and said, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something to help other women.
to help other people, because that's
that's my
that's
therapy.
the first thing that you want to do when you start to feel a little bit of release.
Yep.
Is you're like, I got to help somebody else feel like this.
Absolutely. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
Yep. And you do anything you can. I mean,
So your driving force
There's
is helping
sleepless
survive.
But let me
There's
ask you,
everything.
do you trust anybody?
I've learned to trust people. I haven't in the beginning. I didn't, and I will tell you that one of the hardest things for me was not being involved in chaos. I'll never forget the first month that I was with the boys and we were free of everything, and I cried every single night because when I lived in chaos, I knew what to expect every day. I knew
Right.
I was going to walk on eggshells when he got home. I knew I was going to be careful of everything I said. I knew I was going to stay out of everyone's way. I was going to do everything I needed to for the boys myself, not involve him or anybody. And then when all that's gone, you have to learn how to be normal almost.
Right.
Because I wasn't living a normal life. I was living a life of somebody else, what somebody else wanted. And now all of a sudden it was quiet every night. And I wasn't shaking. And I wasn't worried about whether I was going to be killed tonight.
Right.
Now that seems like crazy, but
So
there I was.
all
like,
that peace made you feel weird?
it made me feel weird.
Because
Like I didn't
you're
understand
out
how
of
to.
your element.
I had to now. I was out of my element. I spent 13 years not knowing what the heck was going to happen.
And you thinking that that's normal.
And you
because
think
you don't know anything different.
Right. And you do think that that's normal, and you're made to feel like you're wrong so much that is normal. I didn't realize what normal was and what a normal relationship was until recently. Regardless, I mean,
He's strange, but yeah.
yeah.
I think that's why I chose boxing.
He's watching too. So is my mom. Mom.
Hi, Chris's mom.
Because I always said that I feel like boxing is controlled chaos.
It is. It absolutely
and I'm
is.
fighting
Yes.
my way out
Yep.
of the chaos, and it's
Right.
symbolic to how I'm beating life.
I'll ask both of you this. Besides your outlets of boxing and helping others, are you still getting counseling? Professional counseling?
I was up until about a year ago, probably, maybe 2 years. But then when my fights, I started fighting more. They started their bigger fights. I had to train more. I trained 3 times a day, so all I pretty much do is eat, sleep, and train. But
And come on, show us.
and well, once
She flew straight from work
Well,
here.
once-
Bypassed the car accident on 195 and made it on time.
but once I'm done boxing and I retire, I'm definitely gonna talk again because it helps.
What about
and it works.
help?
Talk to my friends. Boxing in my therapy sessions
Help,
right now.
and then you can coach women.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
You know?
I also thought about opening funds and stuff for houses where the kids that are abused and all that stuff. But it's just, you know how it is with women's sports, where we're still struggling.
Yeah, you're
to
second
get
tier,
what we
no
deserve.
doubt about it.
Yeah. So we have to have other outlets to try to help us. I mean, the strides in boxing are definitely, they're getting there, and the paychecks are getting bigger. and we
Guys
have
boxing
television.
sucks. It's no
But
lately.
it is,
So
where the
you
women
got
are.
you got a nice void right now to fill. So there's room because guys boxing's gone to crap. So you actually have space to grow in that whole realm. What about like MMA? You ever think about doing that, or are you just going to stick to one technique?
Nah,
She's negative.
I just fight one person in MMA. But that's it. I ain't saying the heat
What about
is
you,
on.
Jen? You going to take boxing lessons now?
No. I have my work cut out. for me
Jen's like
already.
me, man. I'm too old to fight right now. I
I'm
got a
too
gun if
old.
I need it,
Never too
and
old
that's
for
about
nothing.
it.
I gotta
Never
fight
too old
it.
for nothing. I tell y'all my age, but I'm not. So, I'm
Now-
22. No. But, yeah. And you know, I thank boxing for saving my life. Because
Absolutely.
I always said without boxing, I would be dead or back in jail.
Yep.
Because for defending myself. Because the minute I feel threatened, I just, because
Are you able
have
to
protect
control that
myself
now?
now.
Are
Oh,
you
yeah. I'm good. But the boxing is good for that. And I don't think people want to mess with me too much anymore either.
Like say right now, like you swore too much on my show, and I like at the end of the show it kind of pissed off. I was like, you know what? You kind of messed up the show, and I got a little close. Am I gonna get a right hook?
Nah.
Do you have that self control now?
No, yeah, I'm definitely controlled. And
That's good. No,
and I realized
it was
there
a
are lot of
serious
people-
question
a lot
because
of people
what
that
I'm
look up
asking
to me
you
and
is
stuff
not
now.
to make a joke or not
Yeah.
to slight on you. It's to ask if you've been healed.
No,
Because
for
if-
one, I've never hit nobody just to be hitting people. I hit people to protect myself.
Well, what I'm saying is if I got in your face and got angry and like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
man,
if you about to swing on me,
I ain't gonna swing on
I'm
you,
gonna have to
man.
hit you 25 times. I might not knock you out, but you gonna feel it.
I'm not the smartest. I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm not dumb either.
But-
I told Josh at the beginning of the show because we were talking. I said, guys rely on strength, where
Yeah.
women
And that's what
in
they want,
fighting
that's
are
what
so
I was-
technique.
right,
I was like, I'd go to
that's
hit
why I
her.
use women and children.
Yeah, I'd go to hit her and she'd hit me with a 3-piece before I even knew I was in a fight.
You go low blow, then the throat, and you good. Any man, they're going down. But that's what else I was saying. Is like it saved my life, but it also created that venue for me to get my word out and help people.
Right.
And that's what I thank boxing for, too. Because without the boxing, nobody would care what I had to say.
7:44, which means we got 15
We've got
minutes
that blue
left.
check, so you're gonna be able to do a lot more even now.
I know that blue check. I'm
That
getting
blue
that
check,
thing. I'm
right.
getting it. Jen's going to make me look stupid.
I'm not going to make you look stupid, but it goes towards everything we said. So, what do you... And
Cookie said I'm going to get a wedgie instead of punched. He said you're going to come over here and give me a wedgie.
And I'm sure you've been through this. And my 3 women, like I said last week, I've been working with 3 women, and all 3 of them had gone through the same exact thing. And it hits home for me because I still deal with the after effects of it today. But what do you think that the most common method of physical domestic violence is? What do you think is used most? Punching, hitting?
No, I'd say probably like shaking.
Strangulation.
Oh, yep. I was about to say
It's
choking.
number 1.
Yep.
Absolutely. I was picturing like grabbing the shoulders and like
Yeah, no.
you don't let it threaten,
strangulation.
but strangulation, gosh, that's
Yep.
beyond assault.
beyond.
There's actually laws against strictly
My
There
strangulation.
are laws, actually, and they're
It's kind of recent. They just
Yes.
recently made it a felony.
Yep, they made it a felony.
Because
All by
prior
itself.
it was a strike in order to be a felony where I could grab her by the arm, it'd be the same thing as grabbing her by the throat, which is
Right.
crazy.
Right.
Yep. Speaking of that, when my father was hanging me by my throat off the wall, hanging, and right before I passed out, that's when because I thought I was gonna die, but then I realized no, I passed out and I was on the floor. You know?
So
And that was one of the instances I was talking about, like Hunter remembered something I didn't. When we were in court, you have cove beasts at the bottom of floors. And they escorted me out of the room, and they're talking to him, and they said, what was one of the most recent things? And he said, well, I remember her being choked against the wall, and she was off the ground. And they said, well, what do you mean off the ground, about how high? And he said, well, you see that stuff right there? She was way above that. And today, that still affects me because years later, so I had gone through so much trauma, and my central nervous system was such a wreck from being scared and nervous every single day, that when my body finally calmed down, because I was no longer in that situation and my body had time to relax, things started coming out. One of them was I was constantly numb in my left arm, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, finally, I went to the doctor, and an MRI showed that my C5 and C6 are completely crushing my spine,
you had
specifically due to years of strangulation.
C5 is in the neck area.
Yeah, both are in my neck area. Wow. So those are things that I have to combat now for the rest of my life. But that's years of strangulation. So in the research that I've done about that myself, a lot of our states, yes, it's become a felony. And a lot of reports, a report I read last week, it said that he had only put his hands around her neck for a few minutes.
I mean,
It takes a few seconds to black you out, and
Right.
it takes a few minutes
Yeah,
to
5
kill you.
seconds and a rear naked choke, you're
Look,
gone.
I'm about to say, look at MMA, for example.
Yeah.
They ain't there for 3 minutes.
Exactly.
Josh, you want to try it out? Come put me in a rear naked choke and see, and we'll do it
I'll
live
do
on
it.
air.
No.
I'll do it. Man, I thought you got rid of those that ago.
Let me just see if it helps. No, I'm playing.
But yeah, that's a big deal, and that is the number one thing that most women go through, and that is the first thing that men go for, and it's odd. But even today, like the boys, if they come up behind me and try to put their arms around me, whoa, can't happen.
Yeah.
You'll never see me with a choker on. I'm very, very cautious. Don't like anything around my neck. Don't want you to eat anywhere near my neck, and that's because years and years of enduring that. And when I talk to other women and I read these reports and I see that this is so common, that is a form of attempted murder as far as I'm concerned. Because you're like
out.
this. I mean, I remember times being blacked out, and I also remember times gasping for air. I think that was one of the worst feelings I've ever had in my life, was literally gasping for air, trying to breathe. I mean, we take that for granted.
Imagine being in a fight and you get caught with one of them shots, and it takes your mind right back to that.
Absolutely.
You're
going after him.
And then I still, like, if somebody lifts their hands too fast, I still get like that sometimes.
Those are reflexes, I think, that never go away.
Right.
I have issues with that too. People coming too close to me.
Like, hey girl, and you.
And you feel bad.
Yeah.
And you're not flinching because you're actually scared of them. It's just that's been a natural way to react for so many years that's how you react.
Because you're just used to getting away or trying.
Or trying. Yeah.
So now, where do you go from here? You're going to keep boxing? How many more years?
Fight coming up.
Let's
Fight
talk
Saturday.
We got a big fight
about.
Saturday.
Oh, all right.
next
You know what?
Saturday.
You're here. You're gonna have about 5,000-6,000 people see this. Probably
Fighting
more
up.
with your blue check. We're gonna have to put
Blue
you. We're gonna
check.
have to tag you with your blue check in here so people. Tell us about your fight coming up. Tell us what it means. Tell us, like, not what it means. Obviously, it's a fight, but
Well,
like,
it does have meaning.
does
though.
it have
So
any?
everything-
Are you
yeah.
going to be ranked a certain way to get your belt soon, or do you have belts?
I
What's
have
up?
belts. I'm a 2-time world champ.
Well, you should have
I'm
started off
21.
with that.
I'm 21 and
She's
1,
humble.
but I should be 20. No, I'm 22 and 1. See, I'm all messed up when that one happened. But I should be 23 and 0. I fought on NBC. I was the first woman beside Heather Hardy that fought probably in this era since Layla Ali and Christy Martin. So we made history. We were the first women ever on
I was at that fight.
PBC. And I won that fight.
What do you mean by that? You fought?
I got robbed. Yeah, so I was in her backyard. We kind of figured that we were taking a chance going over there, but for the sake of women's boxing and the sport, we went over there because
Where's over there?
New York.
New York.
New York.
Yeah, we fought on Coney Island,
Yeah.
and I did it for the sake of the sport, 3 weeks notice and everything, and we hoping for the rematch.
You took a fight on 3 weeks?
Yeah.
And she did a great job.
Yeah, no, I
You
beat
really did
her.
a
If you
great
watch
job.
it and
Yeah.
if you watch it on mute,
Yeah.
no question, 6 rounds to 4, 2 rounds, she clearly beat me. I'll say that she beat me those 2 rounds. The other 2 were so close, I could see if they gave them to her. The other 6, I mean, I was hitting her with combination.
So you're saying
She
6'4".
was pot shotting me 6'4".
Yeah.
Yep. So
So
I
wait
was
a second.
promised
Are you ever
immediate
going to take
rematch.
another? Are you ever going to take a fight 3 weeks in again?
Yeah.
Oh, so
If
you're
it's
one
for
of
the
those.
sake-
You're one of those. You're just
If
like,
it's-
I'm a pit
and
bull.
if
I'm
it's
going
for the
at it.
sake of my sport and advancement in my sport, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do so that the little girls if a little girl wanted to turn pro in boxing, I said, don't waste your time. It's not for you. You're never gonna make money. You're gonna be broke. But now, ever since that fight and we got the television, women stay on television now. My sister, my best friend, I guess you could say, Kaylee Reed, she just made history on HBO, being the first woman ever fighting on HBO. And I'm hoping that the rematch is close so I could, fix that. But let's talk about next week. I'm fighting July, because I could go on all day because I'm so mad about that.
I like her.
But I'm fighting July 21st at Foxwoods. I'm the co-main event.
Who you fight?
Calixta Silgado.
What's her record?
She's 15 and 6 or 7 with 10 knockouts.
Also,
So-
she's one of those. She's going to win them.
She ain't winning shit. I mean, nothing. She
No.
ain't
She's one of those.
Sorry, mother, and whoever else.
She's gonna win it. No, trust me, I learned my cursing from my mom, not my
Now
dad.
we are gonna fight.
So you're gonna. So she's one of those that's either gonna hurt
She's
you.
just gonna throw
she's
one
gonna
out,
hurt
she's gonna
you,
throw
or she's gonna get hurt.
Right.
She's not gonna be one that's
So,
gonna.
and my style is I'm busy. I'm a pressure fighter. I come forward. I throw lots of punches. I don't have a lot of knockouts, but I hit harder than people think I do, and I accumulate the punches and I pressure. And so I'm fighting over there, and actually we have people donate to the kids because there's always kids that want to come.
I was telling him earlier how awesome
And
it is that the
kids walk me
you
to
out.
the ring.
Yes.
So the kids that can't afford it, we give them the tickets because we only have a limited one. So the kids that can afford it, they go with their parents. But the ones that can't, we try to get the tickets donated and we bring as many as we can.
Can you do me a favor?
And they walk to the ring.
Can you get me tickets next time? Not now, not this time. Next time, and I'm gonna go to Robbie over at the Boys and Girls Club of New Bedford.
Yeah.
And I
mean,
think that's because
as
there's a
long-
boxing ring
As long
downstairs.
as we have enough, because we try to give them to the kids that I train first.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Or the kids at the school that we go to. But if there are extra, yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to,
And
because they got a
hopefully-
van over there, and Robbie's
Yeah,
trying to
they're
get
taking
that.
right over.
Robbie's trying to get
Yeah.
that.
And then
I
the
drive.
the kids walk me to the ring because the kids symbolize where I came from and how I made that change, and that gets me my mind frame into where it needs to be. Like,
You're getting that
You're
straight
right.
jacket off, man.
yeah,
You're
right,
getting-
yeah.
That's cool stuff.
I was telling him that too. That's what I liked so much is how kid oriented you are. My own
I
kids
made
have
it.
walked
I
you
made
out.
it cool and okay for kids to be.
Right.
Before, you never seen kids in a boxing thing. They called me the children's champion, and
At one point, you're gonna adopt.
I mean, I would like to if yeah. I want to say if I find the right
I just
woman.
struck. I just hit that
But
nerve. I just
could
poked the
do-
nerve. I think
I do want kids. I have a stepdaughter.
She does.
Yeah.
Yep, and
Who
she's
I've
10
seen,
now.
she was
Yes.
in New York when
She's
we
at all the
fought in New
fights.
York. Yeah.
When I won my first title, she was in the ring holding the picture of my mother. That's, I was in her life since probably 3-6 months, since diapers. And
So you have been a
she's still
parent.
in my life, yeah. She's still in my life. I'm not with her mother. The mother's cool, the father's cool, and we all understand that we all love her, and she loves all of us, and
So you have a successful
things pieced
co-parent
out now
going
that
on.
we're older.
Right, and
Yeah.
she's a step parent, and she's
Right.
able to give that little girl what the step parent is supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, she has a father that loves her. She has
Hey,
a
man.
mother that loves her, and then she also has me.
People don't realize that anyone that has a good father, good mother, even though they get divorced, you
Right.
might actually have a great opportunity. Not that I'm condoning divorce, honey. Don't think that at all, because God, I would be nothing without you. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
So you don't
She
have to beat
posted
him
a
up when
meme
he
where,
gets
like,
home.
when
You
the
don't have
men
to
can't
do it.
find stuff, you always blame it on your wife
Yeah.
for moving it. And when
No, that's
you
real
just
though.
can't- yeah.
And then, even with my lesbian girlfriend, yeah.
So, but the thing is, like, that little girl's blessed that she has someone else who loves her.
Absolutely.
So don't take it down as like a step mom,
that's
step
like my
daughter.
my
That's your
stepfather-
daughter, man. If you treat her
Kevin,
that way as a daughter, then that's your
Right.
daughter.
Yeah, and she
absolutely.
tells everybody she's not. That's my stepmother. I love her. But
It seems like you
like my
gotta,
stepfather, that was good for me. Is he could have disappeared. He could have stayed out my life, but he stayed, and he always said, "You're not a step kid to me. You're my kid.
Yeah.
I didn't birth you, but you're my firstborn. You're my kid." And he's the reason why I'm normal again. Because I learned that I can trust a man, and a man can care about me and love me,
And
and
in a
not
positive way.
Right, in a positive way.
Right.
And he's still there. He's had all the fights, and he's just in my mom's dead. But he's still there for me.
So we're gonna start taking questions next week, and base the podcast off 2 questions.
Yeah.
So any of you that watch this, send the questions over to Jen or myself. We're in the process of setting up a business page, the Survivor Speak podcast. I started it. I don't know if you got the
Yeah, I got
notifications
the
yet.
notification.
And we're going to do a discussion group where we're going to make our guest tonight, Shelly, one of the mods, and just have her jump in once in a while and throw in some topics, some opinions. And we're going to try to get people involved as a group outside these podcasts that could discuss issues and get help, and almost like a self-help group. It's going to be a private group. We'll post it on the page. I'll get it going some more next week, but we want to start not only people listening to us, we want people to talk to us as well. We want you to reach out to us for help, but also, even if it's not help, ideas. Hey, I think it's a good idea if you guys start talking about X, Y, and Z, because your situation, although there are similarities, totally different than
Totally
hers.
different.
Yeah, totally
Everybody's
different.
story is
Exactly.
different.
I mean, you
Yeah.
deal with this. This is what you do now.
Yeah.
I mean, besides being a top producer and future counsel over at New York Life, you are helping a lot of people, and every
Yeah.
situation is different. I mean, you do grasp at the,
We all have core similarities,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, we can talk about certain things that are very similar, but we all have we take different things from it, we're doing different things from it. I mean, there's a lot of women that don't have the strength to do what either one of us are doing.
No.
We're trying to give them that strength. We're trying to say, listen, this is how you get here.
Right. Once you
We
find
did it.
the blueprint out.
And that's it. For her, it was boxing. For me, it was making sure that other women knew that they weren't alone in this situation. Because when people see me, they never think, you probably first met me, you probably wouldn't think,
Yeah.
hey, that girl did 13 years, hard years of freaking terror. And
yeah, hey,
My niece, speaking of that, we was in New Hampshire when she lived there, and the guy, rapist on the loose, and he was at the school shut down. Where she comes home, so it's dark, and hey, can I go outside? And her mother's like, did you just see the news? And she was like, but that doesn't happen in real life. That's just television, right? So she was like, Shelly, talk to your niece. It's time.
Right.
And then when she realized that happened to me, she was like, to you? Like, to
Because
you?
you're the
because
tough-
how tough I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's why I'm tough,
And that's what's important. That's
Right.
what we're trying to reach. We're trying to reach all those people that
Right.
don't realize what they have inside them to
Well, and
get
what
through
they can
all
get it
this,
out,
and
yeah.
what they can do and how they can utilize it.
that's what I'm saying. And there's
all about
plenty of
strength.
resources
Really
around
is.
you. You found your resources. You
Yeah.
found your resources. You came up with your plan. And that's what I tried opening up the show with. I made it so it's geared towards everybody who's watching, because there's people that watch that just aren't here to learn, or that were part of a situation where they were a victim. But there's other things they can accomplish. I tell people all the time, I'm faithful to God. I'm a devout Christian. I really am. And I believe that God has a plan for everybody. And he puts us through bad situations sometimes. And he puts us in bad spots. in order for us to learn, grow, and help others and push it through. Your faith, I don't know what it is. Your faith, I don't know what it is. But you both went through some serious shit. And now here you are both helping people.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a little girl tonight watching this show. I guarantee it. Or maybe, hopefully, someone
There's
shares it
gonna be a
with
parent
her.
of a little girl
That's gonna
say,
show it.
Understand why they're acting
Say,
a certain
hey,
way now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
because
you know,
there is changes.
there
in
is
your
changes.
behavior.
And there is an avenue out. And
always-
someone who just thinks that counseling is the answer, they never thought of, hey, maybe I could go be like Shelly and be a boxer and take this anger out and do something productive with it.
And-
There's never going to be the wife out there or the young girlfriend out there or the old girlfriend or the older wife that's getting abused that says, I can open up my own foundation now through this. I can take this tragedy, I can take this shit incident, and I can make something of it. I can use that as a seed for a beautiful flower. You know, a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And two of you tonight are going to continue to do what you do, and it's an inspiration to many other reasons than just getting out of an abusive relationship. It's for people to see that you can come from really some bullshit situations and rise from the ashes and do what you're doing. You're a professional boxer
With a blue check.
with a blue check that's got belts that should be undefeated, but she got robbed by politics because she went over to Coney Island. You ever go to Coney Island? Make sure when you're there you think about how people get robbed
Yeah, I
of
got
fights.
some big tickets over there in Coney Island.
And here's another one who came from, gosh, I don't even want to begin to think about where she came from either. And now she's got a foundation. She's a mom who's doing all this awesome stuff for her kids, showing them there's different lives. And she's doing it for other women too. 3 this past week. So you can take your screwed up situation in life. I just recently went through some shit where I can't even compare what I've been through. But you know what? It took a bad experience and a crisis in order for me to grow.
Yeah.
So like I say, man, I don't know, I just came up with this. It's probably been said a million times. You could take a bullshit seed, which is a bad crisis that happened to you, and grow a beautiful flower out of it. You know?
That's what we're doing.
And hopefully that's what we do tonight. And I hope everybody got something out of tonight. I really do. Jen, what do you think about our first inaugural podcast?
Well, I think having Shelly on was certainly a huge help.
Well, you tell me. Jen will send me a message once in a while like, hey, you did a great show. She did it last week with Nick. And
Yeah, Nick Correa was here.
And I
He
just,
was on the
I
week
just
before
turn around and what do I say? It's easy when you got good guests. I'm just the
Right.
idiot in the middle that fills in the gaps of the stories, and I ask the obvious questions. So thank you so much for coming tonight.
You
Yes,
guys
thank
for
you, Shelly.
You know,
having me and always getting the word out there.
you know, it's wonderful.
It's important.
We need outlets to get it out
We
there.
need outlets.
And that's what this is.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it's an outlet for somebody. You know, hopefully somebody out here tonight.
Somebody definitely, because every time we do this, I get the inboxes. I'm sure you get the inboxes.
I told him our
the
first
kids
show.
find me and the
Yeah.
And
the
that's
parents
what
find
that's
me.
what I want to do right now.
That's
Shelley.
what drives him at this point, because after our first show and I told him it was going to happen, like, it happened.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember you being like,
She saw the change.
oh my God. Like,
She
it
saw the
happened.
change.
Because
I
it
didn't know I
happened.
was doing with this damn show. I still don't know what I'm doing with this. Look at me.
Steps on a ladder.
You know, they don't understand
That's
that
not
I just have these weird shorts on underneath. Like, I just from the waist up, I look like I got my stuff together. But
It's all about the impact, and we're making an impact, and
Right.
that's important, and that's what's going to drive us all to keep going.
Somebody's gonna see this, they're gonna share it. That person's gonna see it, it's gonna help them, they're gonna share it.
Yeah.
I'm going to close it out with your contact information that you are willing to give out, whether it's a Facebook link or.
If you're beautiful, my phone number is. No, I'm just kidding. no, I'm playing.
You sound like Nick. You sound like Nick last week. He was like, yeah, I've been working out pretty good. Nick's single. He said that like 3 times last week.
I'm on Facebook. I have Shelly Vincent, which you won't be able to get on. I have Shelito Way, and I got Shelito Vicente. That's my athlete page, which is unlimited. So that's the page to like on Instagram, at Shelito's Way, and at Twitter, at Shelito's Way. I don't really mess with Twitter too much, though. I stay out the Twitter streets. But
Me too.
Yeah, Instagram.
I
and
can't.
Facebook
Never hooked up with me. I'd rather
I can't just
MySpace
say it.
come back and we can get rid of Twitter.
I want MySpace back.
Yeah, MySpace
All
was
that-
good. Everybody
yeah.
hated on Tom, but he
And-
let me
and-
put whatever music I wanted
Right.
on my wall,
you
and
didn't have to
I
worry
had
about
my
them
top
stealing
8
your
friends.
privacy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I had like my friends. Hey,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna put you as my #1 friend today.
Tom.
You know, you can't do that.
Let's
Everybody's
work together.
equal
Let's
on
get the
Facebook.
MySpace
yeah?
back.
Everyone's equal.
You know what I mean? What about you, Jen? Contact information for somebody that is going to reach out. I can guarantee it tonight to get some help.
Yeah, website is thehelpsavefoundation.org, and the email is thehelpsavefoundation@yahoo.com.
And if you're having issues getting in touch with either of these, or you just want to make fun of me or call me stupid or tell me how unproductive my nonsense is at the beginning of the show, Chris at New Bedford, guys. I got a little thing brewing, started this afternoon. I can't really speak on the issues right now, but I'm going to let out a few hints. It's not an issue. It's going to be a cool project right before school. But I can tell you one thing. Maid Barbers in New Bedford, key player. Uppercuts in New Bedford, key player. Village Hair Designers in Dartmouth, Paid is going to be a big player. I'm going to release all the details as soon as I get some more people to help out with this wonderful project that is going to happen. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, and your continued support. You need help. You need to make that plan. You need to get counsel from others, and you need to make that jump tonight. Don't wait anymore. Figure it out. Get a plan. Reach out to us, and we'll get you in touch with the right people to get you out of that situation. And it applies to anything, whether it's abuse, addiction, or you just want to talk to me about business. I like learning from you. You can learn from me, and we'll get something going. God bless everybody. Thank you very much. Big good luck. She don't need it, because if I tell her good luck, she'll probably say I'm jinxing her, and she's going to hit me with a 3-piece, but I hope you really kick ass on Saturday.
Thank you, man.
Jen. Have a good night.
I can't even stop. I'm lucky to have you on my corner. That's our corner right here. And then from here on out, now that we're getting it going, she's in this seat, I'm going to be over there. I was just a little nervous because I thought you were going to hit me if I said something wrong. Good night, everybody. Facebook, thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Jen Santo, good friend. Thank you so much for watching. Anybody else that's watching, Cookie, Jimmy Almond over at the Cotway, thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. Jen appreciates your support. Survivor Speak podcast, inaugural issue.
Yay.
We're coming back. Thank you. Good night. God bless.
Good night.